Hi, I'm here at Columbia University with Robert Stone, director of Pandora's Promise, which you would call, it's a pro-nuclear film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
think so. There was a lot of food for thought here tonight, and I personally have opened up my mind to a lot of the things that you presented in the film in terms of, for sustainability, we're going to have to turn to nuclear energy. How do you think your film would affect somebody that's so, anti-nuclear? They grew up in the 50s, right, with anti-nukes and all the bad, fearful things that were put into us.
Well, I think, the only people, I've been taking this film around for almost 2.5 years.
I know, you've been on the road.
It's your road show. It's been a long journey, so I've had a lot of experience with this. Really, the only people who are adamantly against and opposed to what I'm saying here are, professional anti-nuclear activists.
And when you mean professional anti-nuclear,
people have, that's their lifeblood. That's what they do. That's their sense of identity. It's what they do for a living.
It's who they are.
It's who they are.
It's who they are.
And they're not going to change their mind. And so they'll say, well, this is all propaganda. You're working for the nuclear industry. You got all your money for this. But it's always like, they're throwing something about
so
personal.
they're giving you a backstory no matter what you say.
No matter what I say, it's kind of like hardcore climate deniers. You can throw anything at them; they're not going to.
This is true,
fit.
Right?
It's a similar. It's almost like a theological opposition. But those are a tiny minority. They're a very vocal minority.
Right, they are.
And many of them in very top senior levels of leadership in the environmental movement. But they are a tiny minority. And as I said tonight, in the Q&A, young people, come around on this in droves because they didn't grow up with that.
They didn't grow up with the fear of bomb shelters and Hiroshima or any of those things. Right. When you decided to make this film, what did you have an epiphany? Because what was your first film was called what? Bikini.
My first film was Radio Bikini, which is about the first atomic bomb tests at Bikini Island.
Right, at Bikini Island.
And so and that was about nuclear weapons.
What was your position in that film?
I was absolutely anti-nuclear. It was anti-nuclear weapons. I grew up in the Cold War, and I just equated nuclear power with nuclear weapons.
Right.
I always did. I thought, like a lot of what Bill Nye was saying today, I don't agree with his position anymore, but I used to have that position. This was a complicated technology, and it's just hubris to think that we can control it, and it'll always go wrong.
There's always going to be mistakes.
There's always going to be mistakes. So let's not use it.
A Homer Simpson.
There's always going to be a Homer Simpson. So let's not use it. And at that time, that was a reasonable position to take. But now, after 25 years of knowing about climate change, having everything we've thrown at this has failed. The climate treaties have failed. Going with renewable energy has not solved. It hasn't reduced our use of fossil fuels. Energy efficiency has not reduced overall energy demand. All of these things that we thought would work are not working. We also thought we were going to run out of fossil fuels.
Right.
And fossil fuels would get incredibly expensive. I looked at because I didn't want to. And then once I looked at it, I realized, over time, that almost everything I thought I knew about this was wrong. I thought, well, that's pretty interesting.
But so some of the people you interviewed in the film also, they had all come around to a different point of view.
Well, the film is about people who've changed their minds on it. So everybody in the film, and myself included, started off being anti-nuclear, and really as a result of being concerned about climate change
and the things that weren't working.
And the things that weren't working changed our minds about it. So that's the film is about changing our mind on a very core belief.
Now, where did the name Pandora's Promise come from? It makes me think of Pandora's box.
Well, yeah, it came out of that because I think there has been this view that this technology, discovering the splitting of the atom, was like opening Pandora's box and all these terrible things. And terrible things did come out of it. Nuclear weapons, nuclear war. And so I wanted a title that would acknowledge that the bad things that have come from this. It's not like this is everything about it is all wonderful and rosy. But in the myth of Pandora's Promise, she opens the box, all these terrible things happen, and at the bottom of the box she found hope. And I thought, what a beautiful metaphor.
That's a wonderful metaphor
for
this
film. So I
thought,
here's this technology that did bring us, a potential horror that, thank God, didn't happen. But yet it has potential promise to solve the greatest environmental problem of ever.
If it's harnessed correctly, if it's handled correctly,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Right.
What do you see going forward with this film? Do you see it as an educational tool? Do you see it changing mindsets all over the country?
What is when people see it, it changes their mind, or at least it jogs.
Me, Robert.
It jogs you out of that liberal default position, which is just part of the program.
You're calling me a liberal default?
No. I am. It's just part of the program of being. I'm just saying, if you don't really think about this stuff, it's just part of the program being a liberal Democrat. I'm anti-nuclear.
No, you know what it is? A lot of people like myself, right? We knew about Indian Point. We knew about Chernobyl, and we read the things about it. And we know people that have been involved in this movement. Mm-hmm. So you just say to yourself, "Oh, it's bad. Yeah. It's bad," and you don't question it. And I have to commend you. You really made me question tonight, and I agree with a number of the things that were said in that film. And I'm going to go out and tell people about it. And every time someone talks to someone else, it changes a mindset.
Yeah, and starts a conversation.
Yeah,
it's not like flipping a switch, like you're going to go from anti-nuclear, pro-nuclear. It's not like that.
No.
It starts a conversation.
It totally started a conversation for me.
It's a conversation we need to have if we're going to solve this problem.
I agree with you. Now, I have to ask, has anybody reacted really negatively to you? Did you have a really negative experience when you screened this with anyone?
Occasionally you'll get people who stand up and scream.
They scream at you?
I've had some picketers. I've had picketers.
You've had picketers.
But I invite them in. I buy them tickets.
You're
I invite them in.
embracing the picketers.
Yeah.
Here, come and
I do.
see the film.
Always. And many of them have come up and shaken my hand and said, this isn't what I thought. Because there's all this stuff on the web.
Right.
Like,
isn't that great?
Oh, the Pandora's Promise is this terrible thing, And then they go see it. That's not what I thought it was. That's not what they said it was. It's not like a pro-nuclear propaganda film.
I didn't feel that at all. I didn't feel that at all. So you have another film you're going to be working on.
Yeah, I was talking about it tonight. I'm making a film that looks at how the race to the moon came about as a big idea that was sold to the American public and sustained with this massive investment in technology and R&D, and how that narrative was created by the people who wanted to do this and get us all engaged in a story and a narrative that we supported. Not everybody. It wasn't the most popular thing in the 1960s.
Some of us think maybe we'll be living on the moon.
Well, yeah. So I think if we're going to solve something as big as climate change, we need to create a kind of a, you can't just say, oh, I wish we could do this, or only could do this, or have some technological idea. You need to create a story and engage people and make it something that's they feel they want to be part of. And we haven't done that successfully yet.
I completely agree with you on that. And one of the things that I admired a lot in this film, if you just show this, here you are at Columbia, a lot of the kids here are studying sustainability, environment, but if you showed this to a regular group of people, the way you presented the film was very, very basic in a lot of ways, where people could understand really what was going on. You had the radioactivity counters. Mm-hmm. You showed the different numbers on it. You gave different perspectives of the characters in the film. There were actually characters in that film. All too often in the academic world, when you go and take some of the ideas out there, it doesn't communicate to regular people.
Right. It's just the facts.
It's just the facts.
Right.
And I'm excited about your next film. That'll be great.
Okay.
I always wanted to go to the moon. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. Really great, and great what you gave all of us. And yeah, you definitely opened up doors for me, and I was one of those, liberal Democrats.